Hey guys, in this video we're going to put a dark colored glaze in these crevices here of this white kitchen cabinet kitchen. And so what I've done was, so far, is I've taken all the hardware off, all the knobs. And what I'm about to do is I'm going to do some deep cleaning to get a lot of the grease and dirt and stuff off the cabinets, okay? And then I've also done some light sanding as well. There were some areas that needed to be sanded. This needs to be sanded a little bit more. But these areas right here, I was debating whether or not I should caulk these with white caulk, but these actually are going to be covered up with the dark glaze that I put on here. So I'm just going to, and I don't want to sand down these white areas too much, because the process that we're going to do on these cabinets are not going to turn the cabinets a different color. It's just going to be in the grooves of the cabinetry and things of this nature right in here. And of course, each one of these grooves here. There's really not going to be any differences with these areas right in here or these areas in here. Okay, so I'm going to get these cleaned up. What I'm going to use is just some simple green or some degreaser of your choice, and probably a sponge. And I'm not going to I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to bear down too much so that I rough up the edges. I just want this to be the same. I don't want to start to scar this up in any way, okay? Just a nice good cleaning with a sponge and maybe a light scouring pad. Not anything that's too aggressive, okay? So when I get back to you next time, I'll have these cleaned, and then I'll have my material to start glazing, and we'll get those started, okay? So I'll just give you a good look of what it looks like now. And there's also some edging here on the side, which ought to look really nice, because when I get done, of course, it'll be all within these grooves here. And this is the entryway coming into the kitchen. And of course, these will look all good once I get, all those put together like that. Okay? We'll get back to you after we get it cleaned up, and I start to go get my equipment to start glazing. Okay guys, I'm going to show you the process on this real quick. Alright, so here we got a white cabinet that's already been painted white. It was already white when we started, so we didn't have to do anything with these except clean them real good with the cleaner. So what I have here is a damp sponge, terry cloth sponge, a dry one, dry cheesecloth that I can continue to use to keep turning to a new spot. Each time you use it with these dark spots, you're going to transfer the dark onto the panel here. So I'm going to continue to turn these as I use them. And of course, the Java Brown glaze with a 3-inch brush. Okay, so we're just going to glob it all in here. Go ahead and get the corners and the edges as well. making sure to get into the corners and these grooves right here. You want to get into these grooves really well, because that's where the look is going to be, or that's where it's going to actually, you're going to leave the glaze inside of those grooves when you get finished. So I'm going to smooth this out, going along with the grain. So on the long side I go long, on the short side I go the direction of that. So however you want to look at that, vertical or horizontal, based upon the way you're looking at it, okay? I'll get these sides really well. That's the advantage of taking these cabinet doors off. Clearly you'd want to mark the doors on the back side of the door with a piece of tape. You can mark them and just label them wherever they fit. Okay, that's a good covering there. Now just immediately, within just a few moments, I start to take my damp one and I'm going to go over it like this. Same direction. Getting the edge. I'm not pressing down, I'm just using the weight of the cloth. I'm not pushing down at all. I'm just kind of basically just letting it ride over the top. Just make sure you don't clean out these grooves here. Okay. That may be a little bit too, I may have gotten it a little bit too damp. I don't want it to be bubbling up water. That may be a little bit too damp. Okay, I was just using this. This is the first time I've used these sponges. So throw back that in there. I'm going to use this dry sponge. And I'm going to go in the same direction. Okay, then I'm going to take the buffing cloth, or I call it the buffing cloth, it's a cheesecloth, and I'm just going to wipe over it again. Okay, that's what it looks like when you get done. You just keep turning this towel until you get it to a white section. That'll be the final process. If you wipe it with the brown on there, see, it's transferring the brown. See that? It transfers the brown. You have to keep wiping it to the shade that you want to match the other panels. Okay? Okay, guys, I just finished up the cabinets that are left behind after you do the doors. So I guess you'd call those the base of the cabinets. And I'm sure it'll look a lot better when I get the knobs on there. And of course the doors, the upper doors. It was hard to get it where you're constantly consistent with the shade that you're looking for, and trying to keep it consistent with if it's too dark, too light. But I had my wife come in here, so she's not constantly looking at it. And of course, you know, she's good at telling me what needs to be redone or what needs to be darker or lighter. To get it lighter, that's a little bit more difficult because once you put it on, it's not as easy to take it off. So, anyway, and there's some of my drawers, and there's the rest of my doors. It ought to look good after I put on my polyurethane, which I'm gonna put after it dries for a day or two. I'm gonna put this on. It should work out pretty well. Okay? Alright guys. Thanks for watching.